Shalom, giving all praise unto Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Kwa Hakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honest brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And the above body are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kwa Hakodash. And I'm going to give you, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shai, we're going to do an in-transit style type video based on this Breakfast Club excerpt, and I encourage you guys to watch it if you're into this artist. You know, I didn't grow up at that time that this man Ice Cube came up, and you know, it's not something that I'm intimately, he's not an entertainer that I'm intimately attached to. But this interview, you know, there was a lot of points which I'm going to send this to a brother within our camp here, and I think he's gonna like the infographic, for lack of a better word, and he probably do another video on it, you know, if the spirit, you know, gets on him to do a video on it, because, you know, the man Ice Cube, you know, he's made a few points and he said a few things over the last couple of years, and, you know, brothers made videos showing you that Ice Cube knows that he's an Israelite, and you know, from the video you can see he's got a beard on his face. And has he got a beard on his face? Because this is darkened out. Yeah, he's got a beard on his face. And I believe if it was not last year, the year before, or the year before that, he came out as saying that he was, or said things pertaining to being an Israelite. So when you watch, or when I've watched this basically this rant and the rant that he's gone about the world and different platforms are doing, you know, it reminds me of scriptures, and how this truth, really, this truth is gone out there, and for particular people out there within the industry, and they could have sold out, right? You seen what happened to Cat Williams. He sold out, but after a certain dispensation of time, he realized it was a bad deal, and he was kind of rebelling against the system. So I'm by no means trying to justify, you know, the selling out that this guy may or may have not done, which he probably did sell out, because, you know, he got quite big for a certain amount of time, and now he's kind of, you know, rebelling against the system. So, you know, these guys are sold out, or some of them are sold out, and, you know, Jake's got a conscience. The scripture talks about how that we have a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge. So a guy, you know, when he's young, if he's offered like £1 million, £100 million, or whatever the number may be, he's gonna have a totally different opinion to that, in comparison to, you know, how he feels about that 10 years in, 20 years in, after he's already sold out. And this may be the situation with this guy Ice Cube, where, you know, his opinion about things has changed, and he even says it within this particular video. He says how his opinion have changed over the years, and how he realized, and this is one of the points that's worth mentioning. Again, like I said, you know, the brother that does the videos like this, he might like that, and he might go into it with a little bit of greater detail. But he had mentioned one thing, that he mentioned a few things that are relevant to the truth, but he mentioned that this music industry pretty much is used by the Red Hebrew Edomite to encourage drugs, violence, and over-sexualize Negro, Hispanic, and Native American community. And so that's a musical artist that's coming out and telling you these particular things, right? Now, we've been telling you these things for the longest time, but that's one of the artists, the so-called artists, coming out and telling you that they use the music to encourage a demonic vibration amongst the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. That's just the truth of it, man. Right? They use this, and he said the words, they use psychological programming within the music, and the music is made by committee. And he mentioned how that these artists that you think they're coming out with tracks, a lot of those tracks is made by community. Now, you see the title of the video that he's got out there, he's talking about the gatekeepers. Now, if you got the gatekeepers, right, that's gonna make it, because he's complaining that he can't really push the big free thing, which, you know, the apostle, he mentioned that you gotta go out there and make your own, because underneath Esau's basically ripping you off, man. Right? He's making a ton of money off of the back of you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Really, if you was really about that basketball lifestyle, which the scriptures talk about, the corruptible crown, but if you was really about that basketball lifestyle, then you guys like LeBron James, who's worth supposedly $1 billion, Why doesn't he say, look, instead of us playing for the man, you know, let's get a bigger percentage if we create our own league. Why? Because there's particular gatekeepers, right? Boule Negroes, and also to the Amalekites, right? The JOOs, the orange juice. Okay, there's particular individuals that are set up, or that are out there, that actively participate in keeping you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans down. Not just by the music, but even if you make it in music, they're gonna do particular things to have it to where your so-called success is gonna be the success that they want to encourage. And I mean, what I mean by that is you can make money, right? But to make money for your community is a completely different thing. Why do you think you never see Jakes out here? You know, they'll build a school, but how comes they never really build businesses that are profitable in the eyes of the world? Okay? You see, you know, Jay-Z, he's got a business, but the business is about selling alcohol and selling t-shirts. How comes he doesn't make a business that's a you know, they speak about generational wealth all the daggone time, but how come you never really see the generational businesses, like the equivalent to a Nike, right? Because you get a guy like Kobe Bryant, he'll come up on the scene, he'll do an attempt to he'll try an attempt to make his own so-called shoe company, but look what they did to this guy, man. I wish I know that's, you know, so-called conspiracy, but that's likely the case of what happened. Remember this guy, the so-called Black Mamba, he was making a ton of money for Nike, right? That guy was very popular across the world. Very, you know, charismatic individual, right? You can see that this particular man, you know, he was good at the basketball and that. So you got a situation where Kobe is making his own sneaker. That's not going to work out very well for the likes of Nike and Adidas. So, you know, they had to slow his roll down. The same thing that's happening with this guy Ice Cube. They're slowing his roll down. Okay, he came out with a big free league, but the NBA is like, nah, we ain't about to let you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans come out here with your own league and slow our roll down. You ain't gonna get in the way of our progress. And that's the reality of the situation of what's happening out here. Okay, you Jakes out here, you're finding out that this man, the Red Hebrew Edomite, he puts people in particular positions to slow your roll, whether they be Edomites, Amalekites, or Jakes, some of your own people. Okay, so what else did he mention? He actually mentioned, they asked him, which this guy, what do they call him? Charlemagne, right? Charlemagne, the guy, whatever he calls himself, right? The moist guy, man, with the Vaseline on his lips. That guy, right? You know, there's something fishy about that guy's spirit, man. That guy's spirit doesn't resonate, you know, in my humble opinion. Now, you know, if a brother wants to correct me on the comment board, I'll happily accept him and and retract my statement. But there's something funny about his spirit. He seems a little bit conniving and slippery and, you know, and sly. Okay, as if to say, you know, he might have made the he probably has. He probably sold out. And you know, the question that he asked was kind of like out there, right? But it was a good question nevertheless. He said, look, you know, what you believe about the Illuminati? Do you believe they exist? And pretty much this guy Ice Cube said, yeah, straight up, man. You know, I mean, sorry, Salaka, he didn't say it straight up. Salaka, you know, that's misinformation. But pretty much he said, look, you know, there probably is. You know, but he said he doesn't participate, whatever. But you never know what these guys have done. And the thing with Esau too, he will actually use a guy like Ice Cube to make it look like that he is the opposition to the Illuminati, like to these secret societies, right? He'll actually make it look like Ice Cube is the opposition. He could be an insider. That's the thing with Esau, man. Esau plays what's known as the Hegelian dialectics. Okay, Esau does what's known as Hegelian dialectics. They'll actually come out there and pretend that they're you know, they'll set up a guy and make it look like he's anti, but really he's for. And lo and behold, after a certain amount of time, he comes out and says, actually, you know, after, you know, my previous views was this, that, and the third, but this person made me see light. Look what they did with Kyrie Irving with his so-called sensitivity training. So you gotta watch out for certain of these so-called entertainers because they're set up. Right, but he mentioned about the secret societies. He mentioned about how they use music to destroy the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and he spoke about the gatekeepers. So these celebrities, one by one, they're gonna come start telling you this truth. Okay, they're gonna start telling you about what really goes down in Hollywood, and what happens within the music industry, and how these individuals either, you know, get to a stage where they're popular, or they get to a stage where they can't go no more. Why? Because, you know, they might be in control, so-called control of their music, But the reality of the situation is that Esau's in control of the game. You see that? I mean, no pun intended, because we're dealing with the basketball thing here, but Esau's in control of the game, man. Right? You ain't gonna be able to circumvent Esau. He's the one that the Most High has chosen at this time to be in control of everything. Okay, and this guy, if you really check out his spirit is that of a broken individual. Right? His spirit, in my humble opinion, it could be just tired, but his spirit is like it's broken. Right? Like as if to say this guy is really trying to push for something that he believes is quote unquote good for his community, but really it's like he's got a broken spirit. Okay, this is the reality of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. And hey, you got taught about the basketball and the football and be famous and be big and all this and the third. But the reality of the situation is that the people that went into those industry, they're through right now. They're done. Okay, they ain't smiling all the daggone time. Right? They ain't happy about what they so-called achieve and what they had to do to achieve those particular things. Okay? Because it's a rigged game. Right? You want to make music, but you gotta make music that's destructive to your community. You want to dribble at the basketball? Okay, we're gonna do with all of that money. You're gonna be able to build anything beyond a school that's not gonna be, well taught. You're gonna still teach underneath Esau's curriculum. Because if it is, you could build a school, but if it's under Esau's curriculum, then what use is it? You're gonna just make more slaves. Really, Jake wants to build a school where they could tell their pupils about the man, about the game. But you ain't gonna be able to do that, right? You ain't gonna be able to do that. So these Jakes are finding out, man. Okay, they're finding out the truth about the Red Hebrew Edomite and his nature, and they're bringing it out, right, to a certain extent. Really, the men of the Lord are gonna bring out the entirety of the truth. But you're seeing these Jakes out here, they're bringing out. So, anyways, that's the video. You can watch the thing for yourself. And you can see the handful of, their little trivial points in that. They're little trivial points. This ain't no, 15-page breakdown and psychological evaluation of Ice Cube. It's just some basic points. But you can see there's happenings right now, man. We're in that time where Esau is going to be revealed, right? Pursuant to the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter. All of this business that's happening out there within Hollywood, that's going to be starting to be revealed. All of these, crazy contracts that these rappers sign, that's been revealed. Okay, so anyways, with that, I'm gonna say all praise unto Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rukor HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honor your brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.